Hey everybody, just wanted to do a quick review of the prototype photo book that I put together. So it's been a little bit less than a year since it's been about a year since I had the idea. Last year going into 2025, the goal for the photo book for the year was to take some of these, photographs that I get throughout the year, these captures, and then I was going to convert them to these cartoon-like images. I've shared a few of these renditions out on social media and just like throwing some proof of concept stuff out there. But this is the actual prototype book I put together. So I did this back in spring, actually. This was like probably late March, maybe even April when I got the prototype book back. For all intents and purposes, the prototype worked as expected, right? I just wanted to see what the print quality would be from a printer that I worked with, which was Mixum. Not that I'm being endorsed by them by any means. I just paid for their product with my own money. I saw that several other people out on YouTube were using that company. Highly recommended. So my experience with them was really good with the prototype book, and I sent off the final copy of the book for this year that I'm planning on sending out to them just a couple days ago. Wrapped everything up really on December 31st is when I finished the edits and was ready to send it off to the printer. So got it done within the year as planned, just in the nick of time, of course. But yeah, this is the prototype. I never got a chance to share this out. Probably should have shared it a heck of a lot sooner, but time and other commitments and things prevented me from doing so. So here it is, though. I have it loaded up. So I took some pictures. Took pictures of the pictures. I guess I could have just shared the files, but instead grabbed some pictures of each page or pages. I have this light box in my office, so put that to good use and wanted to just throw these out here just in a little bit different style than just sharing the image files that I sent off to the printers, although I could have done that, I suppose. But here it is. I'll go through page by page. It's loaded up on my website, so if you want to get out here and look at them, I'm planning on leaving this out here for a while. But it's under the collections. There's one called 2025 Photobook Prototype. When I release the final book, I'll probably put a collection out here for the final release as well. The final release is a heck of a lot more pages, though. This was just a 20-page prototype. The final book, which is the final one I created, also completely different images. Nothing, hardly anything is really reused from the prototype. The prototype was really just prototype images from captures from the previous year. So you're looking at images from 2024, 2023, and maybe even earlier in some cases that I used just to put together this. So it is all new images. It's completely different, look and feel. Some of the stuff I'll kind of explain as I go through, but I just I did it because I wanted to see what it would look like on paper. I didn't necessarily take the same approaches in the final book. But the prototype in itself turned out really good. I thought the printers did a really good job with it. Ultimately, why I decided to not actually try to print it myself. So I did a lot of research on this. I looked at photo printers. I seriously considered buying a high quality professional photo printer, but then I had a couple other thoughts. One, it's another device that I'd have to play around with, that I'd have to learn. It takes up space, and none of these things are small. Even the smaller ones are fairly large. And I don't know that I'd print enough at the end of the day. So other than this kind of idea that I have, I don't know that I would do it. I like printing things, but I don't know that I like printing things that frequently. We'll see. Maybe someday I'll consider something like that. But right now, decided not to go that route. And a lot of that had to do with getting this prototype photo book back from the printer from Mixum. It was so good. The print quality of it, it really turned out phenomenal for what it was. And I was, probably exceeded my expectations. And the price point on it was not that bad, really, for what it was. I think, it came out to like $4 per booklet or something like that. So, not the cheapest thing in the world necessarily, depending on what the quantity is. But at the end of the day, you could, spend a lot more of your own money. Certainly buying your own photo printer has a cost with the actual cost of the device. You also have to factor in upkeep, the price of, photo paper. All these things come at a cost, and, you have to do a lot of printing to make it worth it. So the other factor about this is, the other thing I learned in doing some research is that having your own photo printer isn't the fastest process. So if you're just printing like a single photo, like let's say you want to print off your own 8x10 print or something like that for a frame you have at home, fine, perfect. A photo printer that you buy and want to use at home, or do some light printing, works fine. But you want to start printing out like 50 copies of a book or something like that, that's not going to be the way to go. It'd just be a very slow process, and if you made a mistake, it could be very costly. So ended up not doing that at all. So the approach that I took here, so there was a couple things worth mentioning to get to this end product, what we're looking at right here. This required a couple different steps. One, each photograph, or each capture I had, I ran in Photoshop through a actions tool called Toon Artist, and I got another video out on that, exactly how that works. If you're feeling really nerdy and want to see more about that whole process, I have a video out there for it. But you convert the image over. I then used Adobe Lightroom really to do kind of like final cleanup, touch-ups, final edits to the images. That's just my preference. Probably could use Photoshop for that, but I'm just so used to using Lightroom at this point that I just feel better in that ecosphere. Also used Photoshop after, everything was done with the final editing of each image. I used Photoshop to design each page concept. So each page, you have to go through, you have to frame it out, you have to crop things, you resize, I did some really cool effects here and there, with like overlaps and layering, but all that had to be done in Photoshop. And, that was kind of the funnest part of the process, to be honest, going through and designing these things. Each page of the book, that was a ton of fun. I actually really enjoyed that a lot. But that took a lot of time, of course. That was definitely worth it. But all that was done in Photoshop. And then the last part of the process was putting the page layout together in, I used Adobe InDesign. And that, it basically allows you to input your parameters of, okay, this is the size of the book that I'm creating. Here's the first page, or here's the cover, here's the first page, so on and so forth. You import it in, and you can drag and drop all of your image files or your Photoshop files on top of it. It's all seamless because it's all part of Adobe. And that allows you to export a PDF that you can import into the printer's website. So Mixam has a import process through a PDF where you can import a PDF to a PDF export from InDesign. That worked really, really well. Pretty seamless, to be honest. I had very few issues with any of that at all. Worked as easy as you could potentially ever imagine. But that was kind of the approach, and I'm going to put together, I think, a separate video here of kind of the behind-the-scenes process of the page design for anybody who's feeling a little bit more on the nerdy side and wants to know kind of the a little bit more of behind the scenes of how the sausage is made, so to speak. I'll put together a different video on that, because that would take a good amount of time just in itself. But anyway, this is the final results, kind of what you're looking at here. So I'll just kind of run through page by page and just kind of give you a quick overview of it, and then that'll be it. So this is the cover of the book. or at least the prototype book. This happened just to be a really nice great horned owl. I had an awesome opportunity to capture this owl, and when it was in its nest, it had a newly hatched egg, and you can see the little owlet just hanging out. So this was just a really cool picture. It's one of the best photos I've ever captured, probably ever in my life. So iconic photo that I took, had to be on the cover of the prototype. I mean, it's just the prototype. It's not the cover of the final, but it's still, it made a really good cover page, I thought. And really, just gave it a title. So I think we'll, going forward, here on forth, this is the first photo book I've created, but going forward, all Big Bear Photography photo books released will be called some version of Morning Dew. This one is a comic photo book, is kind of how I how I branded it, but really that's just what it is this year. Next year is going to be something completely different. We won't do cartoons or comics at all. It's just going to be a completely different theme, and it's going to be a lot of fun, but we'll get into that later. All right, this is the back cover. Really, this is just this is actually a Milky Way shot that I took at Firefly Lake near Sainer, Wisconsin. And really, the reason why I like this one so much is because it has these, silhouetted trees, and that works really good to put things like websites, YouTube, Instagram handles. So worked good for that, which is basically what I want to use the back cover for. It's the inside cover and the first page. Really, I just, this is kind of just a placeholder here. Well, some of this text I translated over and reused a little bit, but basically just wanted to have a spot to put a little message, basic stuff you'd expect to see in some type of a, photo book. This next page here is the first page. This is a macro shot that I took of I believe that's might be a hoverfly. I'm not sure if that's a hoverfly or if it's an actual bee. I don't think it's a honeybee. So if it's a bee of some kind, it's probably more likely a wasp or something, but I think it's probably a hoverfly, just kind of giving a quick glance. And it's just a really cool picture that I had with this, hoverfly sitting on a nice pink flower. The next page here is just kind of something I was trying in concept, which was, could I put the actual pictures next to the cartoon renditions, and what would that look like? And that's kind of how this turned out. So kind of two mirrored pages where you can see the actual picture compared to the cartoon rendition. I didn't really do much of this, to be honest, in the final. I didn't really carry over a whole lot of, I didn't mix a lot of actuals and cartoons. The actual final photo book that I created was pretty much all cartoon renditions, and that's about it. I really liked the way the cartoon renditions turned out, and all the work that I put into the editing of it. I mean, they just turned out really good, I thought. So there's going to be some other creative ways that I'm going to filter in the actual photos for comparison, and I'm going to have like a website page where you can actually go out to my website and you can view a collection of the actual photos that are, the cartoon renditions. So kind of a interactive way to get to the actuals. But yeah, this was just something I was trying out in the prototype. Turned out all right, but didn't actually really do much of this type of design or concept in the final. Also did a couple of these what I call like full spread pages, where you have like just like two pages that are actually the same, full shot. They're really good for landscape shots, nightscapes. I definitely, incorporated some type of this concept in the final books. There's a number of these, so yeah, I kind of liked how these turned out. You can see from the printer here, some of these, they didn't line up perfectly, and that's a little bit of the risk you run when you're doing something like this. But you know, for what it is, I think it's probably good enough. Let's see, the next couple pages here, we just have some warblers and some egrets. So this is where I started playing around with, you know, some of the layering and some of the overlays where you can see, like, you know, some of the text hanging over the edge of some of the panels, some of the birds hanging over the edge of some of their panels. This is where I kind of got the bug for designing the pages, and this was a ton of fun when I realized I could kind of do some of this layering and overlapping, and this, I don't know, that was a really cool design concept. I really liked it a lot. So this page right here, particularly with the egrets, this was worth it to me in the prototype, because it really was something I enjoyed in the designing process, and it definitely, these types of concepts made it to the final. Again, just another full spread. This one, too, you can see it didn't really turn out, I mean, it turned out fine, but it wasn't 100% perfect in terms of, you know, the pages lining up. And that might have been, I don't know, could have been my fault the way I sent in the file. I'm not sure. And I think the printer would say, you know, there's probably some wiggle room or playroom in there that they're probably, you know, not anticipating that a lot of people are going to be doing this type of thing. So, that's a little bit of the risk you run, but I still think, you know, for what it is, it turned out pretty cool yet. Let's see, these couple pages, again, some bald eagle shots and some hummingbirds. So these hummingbirds I captured up at Firefly Lake a few years ago, just right in our campsite, I believe. It's got some really cool shots. This one turned out real cool. I like the way that hummingbird turned out. And then these eagle shots, these were probably like the first, you know, eagle shots I got a couple years ago that were just amazing. And these were really good close-up shots. This eagle was perched up on some ice right on the side of the kind of harbor, and it was eating a fish. You can't really see it, of course, in the picture, but it's got its talons right on top of a fish that was discarded on the ice. And that's why I was able to get some really nice close-up shots of it. But yeah, the actual pictures I have of this are just really beautiful shots. So these made for really good cartoon renditions as well. But yeah, so there's definitely some, I always capture a couple bald eagles throughout the year, so there's definitely some bald eagles in the final. Same thing with the hummingbird. There's definitely a hummingbird in the final one as well. They're just almost everywhere. You can't not take a picture of one. Loons. So this was a really cool shot I got a couple years ago on, I think it was called Bear Lake, near Tomahawk. And there was a loon out in the lake with a little one. And it happened just to be, I happened to be out there on my kayak, floating in the right place at the right time, with my big lens with me, and got a great shot of it. So this was a really cool shot. I actually have this shot up in my, not the cartoon rendition, but the actual original shot I have hanging up in my house. Really like it. Let's see, I did a couple nightscape shots as well. So in the final, there's definitely some elements here that look kind of similar. You know, I definitely got a moon shot in there. I definitely got some nightscape shots. I didn't actually get a great Milky Way shot this past year. I kind of regret that. I really like getting a good Milky Way shot, at least one per year, and I don't know, just time and opportunities. You got to be in the right place at the right time, and you only have a limited amount of opportunities to capture the Milky Way. There is seasonality to it. It's only out during certain times of the year. Certain times of the year are better, and then, you know, you have to have dark skies to get at it, so you got to be in the right location. If the moon's out, good luck. You're probably not going to get a great shot. So, you know, when you really take all that into consideration, you have about maybe a week per month from, like, I don't know, basically May through September. You know, you can maybe push it out a month or two, give or take, but not that much more than that. So limited opportunities, didn't get a good chance at that this year, but I definitely got some nightscape shots, and definitely got a shot or two of the moon. Let's see, Northern Lights, Aurora Borealis. This was so admittedly this Aurora, the cartoon rendition, honestly doesn't do it enough justice in this one. This one particular shot. This is a great shot that I took out out near the Rush Lake area a few years ago. Well, it would have been last year, last fall actually. And when I say last year, I don't mean 2025. I mean 2024, I guess. But this past year, I got a great shot of Northern Lights, so that one will be shared in the photo book as well. Like I said, this one I didn't think turned out great for what it is, but the other one turned out a little bit better, I thought. Let's see. This is a couple more shots just playing around with different things. You got this killdeer here where I played around with having the the live plant hanging over the edge of the frame or popping out the top here. That was kind of cool. I really like the snowy owl with its wings hanging out. The cartoon rendition of that turned out really cool too. This was over at the Okano Harbor, pretty popular spot to find snowy owls. Pretty much common knowledge they're out there, so I don't feel too bad about mentioning that, but do respect them if you encounter any type of owl. Give them their space. Don't approach too closely. No picture is worth basically forcing the bird to fly away or find a different spot or feel threatened. So if you want to see one, I do recommend, there's some hot spots. The Okano Harbor is kind of a well-known spot where you can see snowy owls hanging out, usually on the breaker walls. Just if they are close to you where you can approach it, just give it its space. I know not everybody has a super large telephoto lens and can take a picture, but trust me, the picture you take with your cell phone of a snowy owl, it will never be good. So it's not worth it, is what I'm getting at. Unless you have the right equipment and a nice lens with reach, it's not worth trying to take a picture of, in my opinion. But anyway, this was a snowy owl that I captured at the Okano Harbor a few years ago. And then we just kind of got to the last couple pages here. So some macro shots. Again, we got looks like a bumblebee hanging out on a daisy, and this is that. Here's that. I think this is that hoverfly that I mentioned in the. It's actually on the inside cover or whatever, or the first page of the booklet. The full page spread. So it's the actual picture of it. So if I go back to this page right here, that's the cartoon rendition of the final page. So anyway, this was the prototype. I thought it turned out pretty cool. The final result of the actual photo book that I put together, I think is going to be even better. It's got over twice amount of pages. This one I said was like 20 pages. The final photo book I put together as a review of last year came out to be, I think it was 60 pages, including the cover and back covers. So a lot of material in there, a lot of pictures. Like I said, I got some really neat ideas on how I'm going to inject some of the actual photos with the cartoon renditions. And like I said, there will be kind of there'll be a collection that I'll post on my website that will take you to some of the actuals. But yeah, this is it. This is the prototype. Pretty soon, hopefully in the next couple weeks, I'll have the final. I'll get that all set up and sent out and shared out to some of the folks that I know that want them. And then that's it. We'll focus on next year after that. Next year is completely different focus, different goal, different photo book. It's going to be fun. More information to follow on that in the future. All right. Take care, everybody.